75% of people going to food banks in our city are in receipt of provincial social assistance programs. We know the government is not doing its role in terms of providing an adequate standard of living. That number includes about 8,500 children every single month who must go to food banks in order to sustain themselves. That's equivalent to about 370 full classrooms of children in the city who are going hungry. They looked at each other and then asked our representatives, what's a food bank? Why would you put food into a bank? And so it was explained that these are agencies that people living in poverty have to go to be able to sustain themselves because they can't afford food. The Swedish delegates were incensed. They said, we do not have any of these food banks in our country, and if we did, no politician would be able to keep their job.
I had a job and I had long-term benefits, and I never worried about anything until I got laid off. My benefits ended December 12th and I was declared disabled January 4th. And I ended up on ODSP. And it is inadequate. Going to the doctor because I'm hungry and I'm developing more acid in my stomach, and now I've developed GERDs and all the other things that go with it. So you're going to give me medication to reduce my acid rather than feed me. That is ridiculous.
You know, people living in poverty have a much greater impact on the healthcare system. So individuals who are poor are 3 times more likely to have chronic diseases, to suffer from depression.
Any place that has to do with mental health issues, they're closing those places. They're removing those beds. And you know where they're ending up? In jail. There's no rehabilitation. There's no ability for them to get out of that cycle. It's sad.
The upcoming proposed cuts to the corporate tax rates for the next fiscal year in Ontario, taking it from 11.5 to 10, is going to reduce our revenues by an additional $2.5 billion. Do I really need to hear about the corporations and their profits?
And then you know what? It doesn't end there. They got rid of the halfway houses, so at least there was some form of migration into society, some form of like buffer, so that they were learning. They got rid of those in the provincial system.
I can see some of those staff going off on stress leave because of the impact. They're doing 2 and 3 jobs. We've already lost in the Ministry of Environment hydrologists. This gentleman that we lost inspects your water, your groundwater. We've lost inspectors from Ministry of Labor. I've also lost inspectors from Ministry of the Environment. We don't have the staff. We don't have the background. We don't have the supportive management. We just don't have it. It's just not there.
Community is a dumping ground for clients who can't stay in the hospital. I don't know how many times we have people we ship off to Emerge, and then they're sent back. And within 24, 48 hours, we ship them back to Emerge. And then they stay there overnight or whatever, and then they get shipped back again. Or they're in Emerge at 6 o'clock, and we get a referral to see them midnight, 1 o'clock to start an IV.
But isn't anybody connecting the dots to show how this system is actually costing the system a heck of a lot more?
I would have to say by what I see is no.
People have to remain important. At some point, I must become a human being again, not a file, not a number, not something that can be closed.
When are people going to stand up and say, you know what, enough? You know, this stuff isn't for profit. At what point do we as a society say some things aren't for profit, right? Some things we just have to have there.
If you don't speak up about this whole process and about cuts to services that take care of me, then I really have no hope for my future.